You're listening to Chillworthy,
a podcast where two best friends discuss mysteries, murders, and anything in between for your enjoyment.
so if you're ready to hear some chilling and unsettling cases, you're in the right place. Happy listening. Hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Chillworthy with Brent and Talia.
Hi, everybody.
So Talia wanted to be sure you all knew that we're doing a back-to-back
Again.
episode.
We recently did one.
We recently did,
2
so
or 3 times ago.
absolutely.
I just want people to not be waiting with bated breath for the books.
Don't worry. So yeah, we don't have any of those to discuss.
Off we go, I guess.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
Onward and upward.
Great. All right, let's...
Do you want to talk about anything weird?
Nah. I don't think.
Okay.
All right, let's dive into my case.
What is it called?
I mean, I suppose it could be called a few things, but we're going to call it the case of the Sodder children, Sodder.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So.
Well, I feel like we should do a disclaimer based off of what you're saying it's about. Anyone who does not want to listen to a case, I assume, about children meeting their
assume
demise,
correct.
Need to switch off. Stat.
Fine.
Is that correct? Is that fair?
It's close enough, yeah.
All right.
This family consists of George and Jennie Sodder, and they actually had 10 kids. So that's 10? A lot. Yeah.
Now, is this like 10 kids in this current day and age, or like 1960s, 1940s, 1920s?
1945, yeah.
George Jetson.
That makes zero sense.
Well, I actually, to be fair, thought it about like 2.5 minutes ago. I just didn't say it, but it was in my head when you said George and what was it, Janet?
I thought you meant because of the year.
Oh, sorry. Now that
no.
you're correct, that makes no sense. Right.
All right. So this is about the disappearance of the Sodder children. So,
interesting.
All right. So to start this case, it happened in Fayetteville, West Virginia. So a little bit about that area. It's located in Fayette County. Makes sense. Fayetteville in Fayette County,
right.
West Virginia, deep within the Appalachian Mountains, or Appalachian, depending on where you're from. So today the area is very well known for its outdoor recreation, whitewater rafting, hiking, the New River Gorge Bridge.
Interesting.
Coal mines, railroads, logging operations, coke ovens.
Like cocaine?
I don't know. And transportation companies drove the local economy. So I'm assuming not, but who knows?
Right.
That's
Coca-Cola.
some good stuff.
Gross.
So now in 1945, Fayetteville was not an isolated wilderness settlement by any means, but it was still a small town in the Appalachian Mountains.
Right.
So the Sodder home stood approximately 2 miles north of the town itself. And keep in mind also that back then emergency responses were far less organized than they are today. There was no
call. I'm serious.
There was no modern 911 system happening. You know, telephone calls had to go through the operator.
Oh my God, with the cords,
like
and the
Lissy
plugins, exactly.
You know, so that kind of thing. So
what was that dolphin show? Flipper, yes.
I was never as into Flipper as I was into Lissy.
We've talked about this before, I think, well, definitely off the podcast, but I'm pretty sure on as well. Yeah, and I did watch Lassie and I enjoyed it, but I did prefer Flipper.
I wanted a collie so damn bad.
Did you?
Of course. But the hair. Oof.
Oh, well.
All that hair. Goodness.
Are they shedders?
I would say so.
Yeah. And what kind of dog is that? A sheepdog? What are they called?
Collies.
Right.
I mean, they might be a herding dog or something.
No, they are. Yeah.
Not a Shetland sheepdog, which do look like miniature lassies for sure, but... Right. Anyway, so now talking about the actual family. So we've got George Sodder or Sodder, I guess, but I think it's
Sodder
but I think it's Sodder.
I agree with you.
Sodder.
I agree. They probably came from a family of Sodders.
Now he was born in. Oh, this is going to be.
Do your best.
Giorgio Sadu in Tula, which is on the island of Sardinia.
I was going to say, is
Italy.
he Grecian? He's an Italian.
In 1985.
Fascinating. Last name for this.
So at 13 years old, George travels to the United States with his older brother. After they pass through Ellis Island, his brother returns to Italy, but George decides to remain in America. Now, for reasons we don't totally know, George apparently did not like discussing his childhood or why he left Italy. He found work carrying water and supplies for railroad crews in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Whoa. He eventually moved to West Virginia and worked as a driver in Smithereens. So now over time, George established his own trucking business where he initially hauled dirt and constructed materials, but then he started transporting coal. So the business was successful, and by the 1940s, they were considered a respected and financially comfortable middle-class family in West Virginia. Sounds nice.
And nothing wrong with that.
Right. Now, George married Jennie.
Oh my gosh.
Cipriani? Or is
Cipriani.
Cipriani,
Yeah.
okay.
Nice Italian girl.
In 1922. So Jennie was also an Italian immigrant who had come to the United States as a child, and her father operated a store in Smithers. So George and Jennie eventually purchased a 2-story wooden home outside Fayetteville and raised 10 children. These children were Joe.
Of course.
June.
Of course.
Marion.
I thought you were going to say Mary. I was going to say Check.
George Jr.
Absolutely.
Maurice. Martha. Louis. Jennie. Jr., I suppose.
Right.
Betty. And Sylvia, who was the youngest. I don't have all the specific ages of all these kids. Some of the reports, though, list some of them, like Maurice, at the time of this incident, was 14. Martha was 12.
Older.
Louis was 9. Jennie was 8. And Betty was 5. But like I said, Betty wasn't even the youngest. So
This is making more sense, like, obviously, what year this was happening, but also those Italians and the 10 kids. I feel like, and I'm only saying that because I am Italian. So I'm not saying anything. Well, I probably am saying something offensive, but they're my people. But in terms of...
I was barely listening. What did you say that was offensive?
Nothing.
Something about a lot of kids?
Right. Like, that's a lot of freaking kids.
Oh, well, yeah, but it was the 1940s.
I just said that.
And
And the Italians, I said.
All right, so now at the time of this incident, which I haven't even told you what the incident was yet, but at the time of the incident, 9 of the 10 kids were living still at home, but Joe,
The oldest.
was serving in the military.
Oh, my
So he was not
God.
living at home.
Wait, what year was this?
1945.
So after World War II.
Don't ask me that.
I
have absolutely no idea.
Wait.
I only know we went to the moon in 1969, and that's from Even Stevens.
Hold on now. I want to...
That's how all lessons should be taught in song, because that's the only way to retain it.
September 2nd, 1945 is when World War II officially ended. So, okay.
All right.
So Joe is at war. Sylvia, well, we don't care. Not that we don't care about her, but like she's the youngest. All right. So everybody's home except Joe.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Joey.
Yes.
I'm just trying to understand.
Now, this is Christmas Eve.
Oh, you and these freaking Christmas episodes,
I didn't pick
man.
it like that purposely. But,
Right. Hip instance.
right. So, you know, the Sodder family they were a very large family. They were energetic. They were very close. And as I said, George was known as a hardworking, opinionated, and outspoken. At least two of those things you can relate to as well.
I'm telling you, it's the Italian heritage in me.
He was especially vocal about his hatred of Mussolini and fascism, like Sophia Petrillo.
I was just thinking that too.
Mussolini had just been removed from power in 1943, and he was executed in April of 1945. And this is so ridiculous that here it is saying it. And World War II had ended only months before this. But political resentments within immigrant communities did not necessarily disappear when the war ended. According to the Sodders, George's opinions had earned him enemies within, his community.
Wow.
Wasn't that part of the Golden Girls episode where he's like, one day we'd beat up the Irish kids and then the next day the Italians would beat us up, or vice versa, something like that. I forget. It's nice when kids take turns. All right, now I do like to try to keep the mystery happening here, but I can't because my research continues to name what the incident is, and so whatever. The incident that I am referring to is that there was a large house fire that happens at one point during this, okay? So, but we're not there yet. Now, several months before the fire, a stranger reportedly visited the Sodder home. You don't like that?
I don't.
You don't like strangers.
Any of that. Why'd they let him in?
Now, similar to what you just said from your last case, this guy was selling life insurance. So George declined to purchase a policy.
A farce.
And the conversation became hostile.
He was
hostile.
He was mean because George
I don't have all that information.
Well, that's outrageous and terrible. That's part of being a salesman, I would imagine. You've got to
take it up with him then.
Take no for an answer.
So according to the family, the salesman told George that his house would go up in smoke and that his children would be destroyed. So definitely not the best salesman. The salesman allegedly connected this warning to the things George had said about Mussolini.
Oh, my God.
So this is he was a big deal, I guess.
It makes me think this was not a real thing with the life insurance. I suppose it could have been, but that George was almost baited because he was so vocal about his opinions, and then someone came and stirred him up and then backfired. Well, I guess
something,
not really.
Maybe, I don't know.
Exploded for George.
So, but that was not the only strange incident. There was another point where a man reportedly came to their property looking for work. As he walked around the house, and he drew George's attention to the fuse boxes.
First of all, were they outside back in the day?
The guy walked around the house. Now, where was he, inside or outside? I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Well, why, again, are you letting these people in?
Well, maybe they weren't in, but I don't know. Fuse boxes are sometimes outside.
I've never seen that or heard of it. Interesting.
In the old days, I think.
Well, that's what I asked.
I'm saying I think, maybe.
Right. I wonder why they changed. Well, that had to be risky with, rain if they weren't properly
sealed. You're probably right, but...
Yeah.
So this man allegedly warned George that the wiring would cause a fire someday.
Whenever I have to fiddle with the fuse box, I pretend I'm in Jurassic Park. Laura Dern, pterodactyls, triceratops, velociraptors. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Real dramatic.
Mr. Hammond, we're back in business. I know exactly what you're saying.
Right. It's a nice little game.
They probably do sell stickers like that you could put on a fuse box.
Oh my God.
But that would be very confusing, I think.
True. You'd have to really make sure kitchen and triceratops.
Handyman come out. But anyway.
Okay, so he's saying, there's going to be a fire here.
Most likely, yes. Right. So anyway, George found the comment strange because the house had recently just been rewired. According to his family, an inspection had found the electrical system to be safe. So the family also reported seeing unfamiliar cars parked along the nearby highway. The occupants appeared to be watching the younger children as they returned from school.
Nope.
I'm just saying, this guy was apparently making a lot of enemies.
Call the police.
Just saying. It's difficult to determine how ominous these events seemed before the fire, because, nothing had technically occurred yet.
Right, just a bunch of disturbing things.
Right. So warnings that appear terrifying in hindsight may have just seemed unconnected annoyances at the time. It was also possible that some details became more meaningful after George and Jennie tried to make sense of what happened. But, the statement about your house is going to burn down and your kids are going to be destroyed, I would say that leaves a mark.
Absolutely. You need to take it seriously.
So.
What a thing to say.
No.
You had to bring the kids into it. Come on.
So, if a traveling salesman came to your door and then you declined him and he said,
I would never
I'm going to
answer
burn
the door.
down your house and Jackson's going to die. And what would you do?
Hold on right there. I'm calling 911. Do you have a minute?
Hold on right there.
And then the house would go up for sale. And we're out of there.
Wow. All right. Well, now you know, everyone. Okay, so on Monday, December 24th, 1945, the family gathers at home to celebrate Christmas Eve. But like I said, the oldest one was still out and about. So 19-year-old Marion, who had been working at a dime store in Fayetteville, that evening she surprised her youngest sisters with toys that she had purchased for them. Very sweet.
So freaking sweet.
The children were excited and asked if they could stay awake later than usual.
Oh my gosh, little angels.
So at approximately 10 p.m., Jennie, the mom, not the other daughter,
Jennie Jr.
agreed. So she told the children that they could stay up as long as Maurice, which of course I only think of Beauty and the Beast, but fine, and Louis remembered to complete a few chores.
All right.
They were supposed to bring in the cows. To me, first off, I'm sorry, but I think that sounds cozy as shit. Christmas Eve, you got to bring in the cows. I told you about that book. I don't even know what it was called, like the Winter Farm or the Christmas Barn, some kind of kid book. And that's where my love of hay began. And it wasn't even a fall book. It was winter.
Right.
But one of the pages had these freaking mice just in the hayloft, just all in this straw.
Frolicking
and I was
about.
never the same after. Never the same since.
No.
It looked so cozy in that hay bale. I'd love to find that book.
You should
Maybe
look it
I'll
up.
look for it.
You should. Speaking of hay, we thought of you yesterday. We went on a little date day, and we were going through all these country roads. It was a beautiful drive. Never saw any of this area before, and we passed probably two farm. No, we passed way more than two, but two that had the hay gathering operation was going on.
Hell yeah, baby.
And then on the way back, I had said
Stuff of dreams.
about taking a picture, and then I didn't. And then on the way back, I wanted to, and then I forgot, and I wasn't ready. But yeah, apparently it's not upon us, but it's coming.
Hell yeah, it's coming. Anyway.
Right.
So anyway, they had to bring in the cows, and they had to feed the chickens before going to bed. Another activity I think that sounds nice. And I think collecting the eggs would be adorable. But
I'd be down
digress.
For the eggs, yeah. But it's not for everybody.
No, it's certainly not.
Right.
So George and the older boys had worked during the day, and they had gone to bed because they were tired. Which, of course, I think is totally reasonable.
Of course.
Jennie took 3-year-old Sylvia upstairs with her. Now, the children remaining downstairs included Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jennie Jr., and Betty.
But Jennie, the mom, was there with them.
I just told you she took 3-year-old Sylvia upstairs with her. These were the kids still staying
in
up
the living
downstairs.
room,
Yes.
playing with their toys.
Marion was also in the living room, but she eventually falls asleep on the couch. And and she's 19 at that point.
And I'm sorry, George, the father, is there?
He isn't mentioned yet.
I'm starting to get
So,
suspicious.
oh no, I'm sorry. No, George and the older boys had worked during the day, so they had already gone to bed.
Oh, yes, I didn't connect he was with them.
Yes. Anyway, those are the ones that are still downstairs. Now, at approximately 12:30 in the morning, the telephone rings. That's chill-worthy to you right there.
1,000%.
You have a major issue with telephones, correspondence in
Yes.
general,
And-
strange notes. They don't
Yes.
even have to be strange.
No.
Just pick up milk could send you spiraling.
Absolutely. And that also, I think I referenced this in another episode that was recent when you talked about like a weird late time call. And I think I said the same thing, how it's even worse than just like, okay, a cell phone ringing. Like back in that day, you know, it's like that shrill. I did say this because then you imitated the sound that I was describing. That like shrill, old fashioned rotary house phone ring. You know what I'm talking about.
I do know what you're talking about. I don't know how to imitate it, but
It makes it scarier.
if I did, then good for me.
You definitely did it in a recent episode. Anyway.
So this goes off. Jenny, the mom, gets out of bed and she goes downstairs to answer it. Now, there's a woman's voice, and she asked for a person Jenny did not know. Jenny could hear what sounded like a party in the background, including laughter and glasses clinking together. Nothing. That doesn't sound creepy to me. You know, is Talia there and people are clinking their glasses?
Yeah.
Say no, she's not, but here's her address. I do get a kick out of that. Anyway, so Jenny told the caller that she'd reached the wrong number. As Jenny prepares to return upstairs, she noticed that the curtains had not been closed and the lights had been left on.
Curtains opened.
Now, the children normally handle this task before going to bed, and Marion was still asleep on the couch. So Jenny assumes that the 5 younger kids had gone upstairs to their attic bedrooms. So she closes the curtains, she turns off the lights, and she returns to bed. Now, investigators reportedly located the woman who placed the call and concluded that it really had just been a wrong number.
Okay. Mistakes happen.
Of course.
Happen.
It doesn't make the call irrelevant, though, because it could have awakened Jenny at a crucial time, but there's no verified evidence connecting the caller to the fire that occurred.
Oh, I forgot there was the fire.
So at approximately 1 a.m., Jenny heard another sound. Something struck the roof with a loud bang. Then she heard what sounded like an object rolling across it. I'm picturing in my head like a bottle that was like lit on fire.
Flammable.
And how it's like rolling. Mm-hmm. Jenny listened for further noises. When she heard nothing else, she went back to sleep.
You couldn't pay me to go back to sleep
No.
after that.
But, you would have sent Ashley out there.
I would not have.
I don't believe that.
There have been strange
I would have gone
sounds,
with her. You go.
Not where we currently
I would not have
live.
sent her out there. I would have gone behind her.
That is not true. Where we used to live, not currently. I don't remember exactly what happened, but some weird sound. Maybe it was where we currently live. I don't know. But I absolutely went down to check things out.
Well, that's nice of you. So, she goes back to sleep. Approximately 30 minutes later, she smells smoke. Well, that's a long time. Mm-hmm. When Jenny went downstairs, she saw fire inside George's office. Flames were spreading near the telephone and the electrical fuse box.
So it was inside.
Actually, yes, good for you.
Yeah.
She screamed for George. The house began filling with smoke.
Oh, I don't like any of this.
Of course not. Now, George and Jenny, while their house is on fire, escape with 4 of their kids. So those who made it outside were Marion, George Jr., and 3-year-old Sylvia. The staircase leading to the upper floor was already burning, preventing the parents from getting to the bedrooms upstairs. So George and Jenny screamed for the 5 children that were up in their attic bedroom. But they hear no response. No kids are shouting back. Nobody's crying. They don't hear any movement whatsoever. None at all. None at all. George ran outside and he tried to reach the children through the windows. A ladder that was normally kept against the side of the house.
Why would anyone keep a ladder
Excuse me.
normally by the side of the house? Just
It's a
inviting
farm.
people up?
It's a farm.
don't like any of that. They do a lot of risky things out there.
Well, good news. The ladder was gone.
Oh.
So.
Like kicked
You got your
over?
way. Kicked over? No, missing.
Missing.
George then attempted to use one of his coal trucks to reach the upper windows. The trucks were large enough that he might have been able to climb onto one of them and gain access to the second floor, but the trucks would not turn on.
Someone fiddled.
Multiple vehicles on the property reportedly failed to start, even though the family said they had been operating normally that day before the fire happened.
Someone was tinkering.
One later family member suggested that George and his sons may simply have flooded the engines in their panic, which I suppose is possible. It's also possible that the cold weather, mechanical trouble, or some combination of factors prevented the vehicles from starting. But every one of them...
That's what I was going to say.
You were.
I was going to say, that's the case. It's over.
So George believed that they had been tampered with. Well, so does Talia.
Absolutely.
He attempted to break a window, cutting his arm in the process. He sounds like he was in complete panic, which why the hell wouldn't you be?
Of course.
The family telephone did not work.
Fascinating.
So Marion ran to the neighbor's house to call for help. She's a very helpful daughter, I'll say.
She's responsible.
Kind, generous. A passing motorist also saw the fire and reportedly attempted to contact the fire department from a nearby establishment.
That was nice.
There were problems reaching an operator or getting the call through. Eventually, someone drove into Fayetteville and located the fire chief, F.J. Maurice. The exact timeline differs among retellings, but the central fact is still uncontested. The fire department did not arrive promptly.
Son of a gun.
The Fayetteville Fire Department was made up of volunteers. Firefighters had to be located individually.
Oh my gosh.
And brought to the scene. And keep in mind, it's Christmas Eve.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And then, by then the house was gone. It had already burned up. It was done. The wooden structure had collapsed and burned down in less than 1 hour. George, Jennie, and their surviving kids had spent the night watching their entire house go up in flames, and from what they believe, their siblings, which is, that's wild. Now, one of the big questions and mysteries about this case, besides the weird shit that we've already talked about, is that there's a lot of speculation if the kids were even in the house. Talia is shocked. So, like I told you in the beginning, well, not in the beginning, in the middle of this, when Jennie wakes up from the phone call and she goes downstairs,
right,
the only kid left in the living room is Marion, who was asleep on the couch. But she left. The other kids were still down there when she went to bed,
right,
with the 3-year-old.
But then she thought they went upstairs to bed.
Correct. An assumption.
Yeah, okay.
But she also said that the drapes were open and the kids normally closed them before going to bed.
And the lights were on.
So, ergo, that's not a good sign. So she assumed they went up to bed, but she didn't personally see them go into the attic, and Marion had been asleep on the couch, so she couldn't confirm where they had or had not gone. So John, one of the older surviving sons, reportedly gave inconsistent accounts. Now, in an early statement, John apparently said that he had gone upstairs and tried to wake the kids up. But in a later version, he said that he only shouted towards the attic and he never actually saw them.
I'm sorry. There's a house fire going on, and you believe your siblings to be upstairs in the attic, and you're just going to, yell a little bit, no response, so you just dip out?
I don't know, but that's what he said. So obviously that's an inconsistency in this case. Now, if John physically saw the kids in their beds during the fire, obviously it strongly supports the conclusion that they had died in the fire. But if he only assumed, like his mom assumed, that they were upstairs, then it remains possible that the kids had never been upstairs. They left the house before the fire had even was even discovered like by Jennie waking up to smell the smoke. So there are several innocent reasons John's account could have changed.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
How old is John again?
Oh,
Sorry, I'm just thinking.
good
Is
grief.
he 17 or is he like 12?
I don't know. He was not one of the ones that gave that I have their exact age, but he was listed second after
Joe?
right. So, and before Marion, so I maybe 20?
Wow. Okay.
That's just me completely making something up though.
But more so,
He wasn't
we're
6,
thinking an
we
adult.
don't think.
Right. Not even 12.
Because it did say one of the older surviving sons.
Yes.
He had awakened inside of a burning house. He escaped through smoke and confusion and watched 5 siblings apparently die. So trauma can fragment memory.
Right.
Questions may also have been recorded inaccurately or repeated differently over time. Well, of course.
True.
However, the conflicting accounts prevents us from confidently saying that any surviving family member saw all 5 kids inside the attic immediately before the fire. Another point worth considering is the sleeping arrangement. The 5 missing children were not infants. Maurice, he was 14, and Martha was 12, and Louis was 9. So if the fire, smoke, screaming, collapsing structure, and attempts at rescue were all as loud as described, why did nobody ever hear any of these kids responding to anybody, trying to get to them, trying to get help, going to windows? Nothing.
Exactly.
So, I mean, potentially smoke inhalation, smoke rises. Maybe it rendered them all unconscious pretty quickly, but I don't know. The attic may have filled with toxic gas before the flames reached it. And the children also could have just become trapped and disoriented and just, weren't very much help to themselves.
Right.
But the silence haunted George and Jennie. To them, it suggested the children were not there. So now, Fire Chief Maurice reportedly advised George to leave the ruins untouched until state fire officials could conduct a more complete examination. Well, that's interesting because most of the time back then, people are taking tours of murder homes and taking, what's it called, souvenirs with them.
Absolutely.
But seems like Fire Chief Maurice had some good advice.
Right.
Now, accounts differ about exactly how thoroughly the site was searched immediately after the fire. Firefighters and local officials reportedly sifted through portions of the debris, but no recognizable remains belonging to any of the 5 children were identified. The absence of bodies did not initially prevent authorities from concluding, though, that the children had died. The fire was blamed on faulty electrical wiring. The local coroner convened an inquest. The official conclusion was accidental death by fire. Death certificates were issued for Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jennie, and Betty on December 30th, 1945. The family held a funeral on January 2nd, 1946. Although George and Jennie were reportedly too overwhelmed to attend. Which, how could you not be?
Those poor people.
One deeply troubling allegation involves the coroner's jury. So the Sodder family's private investigator later claimed that the insurance salesman who had threatened George had served on the jury.
What?
That declared... Wild. That declared the fire accidental.
Oh, I don't know about that, man. That sounds
fishy.
Yeah.
This allegation had been repeated for decades, but the surviving public documentation is limited. It should therefore be treated as a reported claim rather than an independently confirmed fact. 4 days after the fire, George bulldozed approximately 5 feet of dirt over the ruins of the house.
It's so sad.
He said he could not bear to continue looking at the destroyed home, and he planned to turn the area into a memorial garden. This decision may have destroyed or buried evidence. It also created confusion years later because soil brought to the property may have contained material from somewhere else. The decision is sometimes portrayed as suspicious or irrational. But George had just watched his entire home burn down while believing that 5 kids were inside. He had been told they were dead, and the officials had already conducted what they considered a search. So, he let them do all the stuff first. His actions may have been those of a traumatized father rather than someone thinking like an investigator. Still, from a forensic standpoint, covering the scene made an already difficult investigation much harder. So, the most famous mystery in the case, of course, is the absence of any of the 5 children's remains. George and Jennie could not accept the house fire lasting less than an hour had completely destroyed all 5 of their children's bodies. They noted that portions of the roof, appliances, and other household materials remained recognizable. Jennie reportedly conducted experiments by burning animal bones.
Oh, this poor woman.
She found that the bones did not simply just disappear. She also contacted someone familiar with cremation practices and was told that even professional cremation at much higher temperatures than what a house fire would be leave bone fragments and must later be processed. This argument is pretty powerful, but it does require some caution. A house fire is not the same as a crematorium. Conditions vary dramatically depending on airflow, structural collapse, fuel, temperature, where a body is located, and how long heat remains concentrated around it. So small children also have smaller and more fragile bones than adults. Good call.
That's a good point.
Good call. It is therefore possible for remains to become very badly fragmented, mixed with debris, or missed during an inadequate search. However, the claim that 5 children were completely reduced to nothing remains difficult to accept without strong forensic evidence. Even if the bones were heavily damaged, investigators would normally expect to find some type of teeth or bones, something recognizable, but they did not. So after the fire, the family reportedly found the ladder that had been missing from the side of the house.
Where?
It was located near the bottom of an embankment approximately 75 feet away, which seems like it would be out of eyesight. Mm-hmm. The ladder could have allowed George to reach the upstairs window. Its removal, therefore, seems disturbingly convenient. So, obviously one of the kids could have moved it, but, pretty weird.
It just, why? The circumstance, not so much the circumstances, but, what just happened? Who's thinking of moving that? And it's not anyone, my mind goes to somebody who entered the house, not someone who was, the family was the only one there the night of the fire in terms of who would be fiddling with that. You know what I mean? They would have remembered if it was moved, but literally as it's all happening, it was gone. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I guess somebody could have moved it
prior.
Well, I'm saying somebody up to no good could have moved it.
Yes.
So now the family initially assumed that the telephone service had failed because the fire had destroyed the line. So the telephone repairman, though, later reportedly told them that the line had not been burned through, that it had been cut. According to the commonly repeated version, the line had been severed, at a point requiring someone to climb up the utility pole to cut it.
Oh my God.
Which kind of seems then like nobody would notice it was cut to begin with, No. If you're, well, I'm saying if you're climbing up the pole, you're not doing it close to the house. Right,
but also who's climbing that pole, and didn't anybody see that?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah. But I see what you're saying.
So, all right. A man was eventually identified after neighbors reported seeing someone around the property stealing a block and tackle, whatever that is.
Block and tackle.
He allegedly admitted cutting the line, claiming that he believed it was an electrical wire.
Was it any of his business?
I was going to say, what does that have to do with the price of eggs?
Absolutely.
He denied setting the fire or abducting the kids.
Well,
fair is fair.
That's good then.
The man's identity and the complete police documentation surrounding this incident had not remained readily available, which makes it difficult to verify this exact part of the story. And as I said, and as I will continue to say, the internet's a big place, and we do our best here, everyone. So we got to take this fact as face value. But why would someone stealing equipment also decide, oh, what the hell? Let's cut the power.
A line or two while I'm here.
And then why would they do this on the same night as the house catches on fire? Maybe he wanted to take the ladder also, but he didn't get to for. So anyway, it could have been just an unrelated theft and just really bad luck. But for George and Jennie, the cut telephone line was evident of pre-planning of this.
Absolutely.
Right,
and then they can't call for help.
Right, someone had prevented them from calling for help. Jennie never forgot the sound she heard before the fire, the heavy object that struck the roof.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot about that.
And then rolled. Months later, after snow had melted, Sylvia reportedly found a small, dark green, rubber-like object in the brush near the home. George believed it resembled a military incendiary device, or what he described as a pineapple bomb. A bus driver later claimed he had seen people throwing what looked like balls of fire towards the house the night it burned down.
Which that takes me back to George and the hostility that people felt towards him because of how outspoken he was. I don't know, something about that, and that I think specifically that it wasn't just one person, that the bus driver is saying they saw people doing that.
Well, yeah.
My mind goes there. But I mean, no matter who did it, it was outrageously unkind, hateful, dangerous.
Unkind, yeah, that's one way to say it.
All sorts of things.
Again, you kind of got to take this at face value because the claim that the fire began on the roof also conflicts with Jennie's recollection that she saw the flames in George's office downstairs near the fuse box. So there's that. A device thrown onto the roof could still have caused the fire to spread downward, or the initial location could have been misunderstood, but there's no confirmed physical evidence establishing that a bomb caused the fire. One of the strangest things involved the fire chief, Maurice.
Uh-oh.
Rumors circulated that Maurice had found a human heart in the remains and secretly buried it inside a small metal box. I mean, things are just getting stranger and stranger.
Exactly. And how would a human heart survive a fire? Don't you think that would be absolutely
I do think it would be weird.
Pulverized?
Yes. According to the story, the fire chief confessed this to a minister, and the minister then told it to George. So George and the private investigator that he hired, C.C. Tinsley, they confront Maurice.
Christmas tinsel. I know,
this story is getting more and more wild.
It is. And I don't understand also why we care.
Excuse me?
Well,
why we care that the fire chief took a heart from the ashes and buried it in a aluminum box?
Yes, that is all strange.
Why are you telling me this?
But also, it's just so absurd sounding.
I agree.
So why are we upset with him?
Well,
I don't
evidence
think
of someone being in the house? I mean...
Yeah.
Anyway,
are we sure it was a heart?
We're not sure of anything.
Right,
as
true.
I just disclaimed.
Absolutely.
So Maurice reportedly agreed to show them where the box was buried.
Very kind of him.
When the box was open, it contained what appeared to be tissue.
Wait,
not a tissue.
I was going to say tissue, puffs, or human tissue.
Right, not puffs. So anyway, this material was taken to a funeral director who identified it as fresh beef liver.
What is happening
This
with
is like a
these
fever
people?
dream.
Weird cast of characters. They're screwy in this town.
The fresh beef liver had never been exposed to fire. Take that for what you will. Rumors later claimed that Maurice had planted the liver because he wanted the Sodders to accept that their children had died and to stop pursuing the case.
Well, that's suspicious as shit. And that he, like, purposefully basically, said this in confession, so then the priest would tell the family, like, that he knew that he would go tell the parents. I don't know. Something's funny.
A lot of things are funny.
I know.
I mean, and guess what? It didn't reassure the family. Just made them even more suspicious.
Surprise.
Right. So now, when the fire was happening, there was a woman watching from the road who claimed that she saw children inside of a passing vehicle.
Oh my God.
She believed that they were the missing kids. Now, if this account was accurate, which I don't know if any of this is accurate because it's so wild, the children had been removed from the house shortly before or during the fire happened.
But whose car?
Don't know. However, nighttime conditions, distance, smoke, panic, and the brief movement of a vehicle would make identification extremely difficult. Well, yeah. Another woman operated a tourist stop, which was a restaurant, along a road between Fayetteville and Charleston. She reportedly claimed that she served breakfast to the 5 kids on Christmas morning.
Come on.
This could be one of the wildest cases I think I've ever told you.
Something is very wrong with everyone in this story.
The children were allegedly accompanied by several adults and a vehicle with Florida license plates.
What several adults?
Who what? Well, she was only the waitress. I mean, she wasn't,
Let her off the hook.
This was one of the most dramatic sightings because it places all 5 kids together within hours of the fire. But there was no photograph of them, obviously, no receipt, no vehicle registration, or there was nothing that even confirmed their identity. So the story appears to have been reported after the publicity about the children increased, meaning that the witness maybe saw the kids' photographs on the TV and thought she saw them at the diner, served them breakfast.
Right, that makes sense.
I mean, what diners open Christmas morning?
That's what I
in
was
1945,
thinking. No less,
but
yeah.
Anyway.
Making a living.
A third major sighting came from Ida Crutchfield. She operated a hotel in Charleston. Crutchfield stated that approximately 1 week after the fire, 5 children, matching the kids' description, arrived at the hotel around midnight. They were accompanied by 2 men and 2 women, whom she described as appearing Italian. According to Crutchfield, one of the men watched her carefully and prevented her from speaking with any of the kids. The group left early the following morning. Again, no names, license plates, blah, blah, blah. Nothing, was collected. And large families traveling during Christmas wasn't unusual, which I agree with that.
Right.
But obviously, again, it was pretty weird.
I mean, and it's like, okay, if we're going to go down the road of where these kids kidnapped, to wrangle 5 kids, none of which, we're not talking about 2-year-olds these were older, larger children, or larger in terms of older. I just can't imagine they would successfully get them out without anyone yelling, crying, putting up a fight. I know Marion was downstairs sleeping, but I just can't imagine she would have slept through something like that. This is just so peculiar.
I agree, but what can I say? So now, the search expands. George prints flyers containing photographs of the kids. The family initially offers a reward of $5,000.
Which back then...
I agree, later increasing it to $10,000. In 1952, they put up an enormous billboard near the site of the former home along Route 16, and the billboard displayed the faces of all 5 kids. And it asked, quote, "What was their fate? Kidnapped? Murdered? Or are they still alive?" End quote.
These poor parents.
I know. So for decades, the billboard became a landmark.
It stayed up for decades.
That's what it says. People traveling through Fayetteville saw the children's faces year after year, frozen at the ages they had been on Christmas Eve 1945. George followed leads across the country. At one point, he saw a photograph of ballet students in a magazine and believed one of those girls was Betty. He traveled to the school in New York, but was refused access to the child. Well, I don't know about that.
Right.
I mean, I can't, whatever. The family investigated reported sightings in Florida, Texas, Louisiana, Ohio, and a few other places. Many tips were obvious mistakes. Some were scams. Well, yeah. People attempting to collect their reward money, obviously.
Of course.
So none of the sightings produced a confirmed match. So now, George contacts the FBI director, J. Edgar Hoover.
Wow.
And he asked the federal government to investigate. Hoover reportedly responded that the matter appeared to fall under local jurisdiction. He said the FBI could assist if local authorities requested its involvement, and we know that's a pissing match, as always.
Exactly.
According to the family, local police and fire officials declined to make that request.
Of course.
We'll just keep putting beef liver in tin
Locked
cans.
boxes.
Right, whatever. That's fine. We've got it all under control. Later accounts state that the federal investigators did examine the possibility of interstate kidnapping and followed leads for approximately 2 years, but no evidence was ever found that would have allowed the investigation to continue. The case was also discussed during hearings before the West Virginia legislature in 1950. Afterward, Governor Okie Patterson, O-K-E-Y,
Yeah.
Patterson.
I think you're right.
Okie dokie.
I was just going to say that.
And state police officials reportedly told the Sodders that the case was hopeless. The official investigation was effectively closed. For George and Jennie, however, the word hopeless did not mean finished for them. I mean, they are giving it their all.
Oh, they are such devoted parents. And, you know, I was just thinking, too, the impact this must have had on the surviving children. Like, if Joe felt any, I was going to say survivor's guilt, but, like, that would apply to the ones that actually were there. Joe wasn't physically there when this happened, but it's, like, guilt that he wasn't there to help or protect them. And then the ones that did survive or aren't missing, at least, like, I just can't imagine how this affected everyone in the family and in such different ways, and like how just parenting was after this for the four that survived, and just how it shaped them. And even like if you think of like Sylvia, like with her being so young, what was she, 3 when this all happened? Like, oh, it makes me very sad for everybody.
So now, George arranges for a new excavation from the house again, the site of the house.
Yeah.
The search was supervised by pathologist Oscar Hunter. Investigators found several items, including coins and a dictionary believed to have belonged to the children. They also recovered small fragments of human vertebrae. For a moment, it appeared that the first physical evidence of the children had finally been found. The bones were sent to Smithsonian specialist Marshall T. Newman. The examination produced unexpected results. The fragments all appeared to come from the same person. That individual was probably between 16 and 22 years old, although the lower end of the age estimate was not absolute. Maurice, who was the oldest missing child, had been 14. More importantly, the bones showed no evidence of any exposure to fire.
What?
The Smithsonian analysis concluded that the vertebrae are most likely came from the soil that George had brought that day that he decided to cover it up.
Oh my gosh.
So he's just tracking out new human remains. Wouldn't that open a whole case as to where the hell did you get this dirt?
Exactly.
Those police are probably like, we don't even say.
We don't want to know.
No.
Oh, they have enough on their plate.
I mean, that's nuts. Later, though, it was alleged that the bones had originated in a nearby cemetery at Mount Hope. No clear explanation was provided for how cemetery remains would have entered the soil used on the Sodder I'm getting tongue-tied. Sodder property. But regardless, they decide they're going to return the fragments to George in September of 1949. So anyway, that was another dead end.
This is a wild ride, man.
It is, and it just keeps going. In 1967,
jeez,
more than 20 years after the fire, Jennie received a letter postmarked in Central City, Kentucky.
Oh, no, that wouldn't have been terribly far. At first, I was thinking, like, holy shit, that's so far away. Is that far from West Virginia? Not terribly, right?
Well, no, I suppose not
Decently.
terribly. Inside this letter was a photograph of a young man. The man had dark hair, prominent eyebrows, and facial features that the Sodders believed resembled their missing son, Louis. On the back of the photograph was a cryptic message. The precise wording has been reported with minor variations, but this is the gist of it. Louis Sodder, period. I love brother Frankie, period. Illy boys, I-L-I-L. Illily boys?
I don't know. I-L-I-L?
Ill.
Right.
Ill boys, period. A903. No, I'm sorry. A90132 or 35.
Bingo. That makes me think license plate. I don't know.
I don't know either. There was no return address on it. Well, that would have been way too easy.
Right.
123 Main Street.
Longitude and latitude? I mean, what is happening here? And that many years later, this poor woman. Oh, God.
So Louis would have been approximately 30 years old at that time.
30.
George and Jennie believed the man in the photograph could be him. They hired another private investigator.
Oh, my God.
And sent him to Kentucky. The investigator never reported back.
Just took their money and ran.
He disappeared with the money that they paid him. So these people can't catch a break.
No, in any form.
The family chose not to release the photograph publicly for several years. They feared that if the man really was Louis, publicity might put him in danger.
Very, very sweet.
Later, the photograph was enlarged and displayed beneath the image of 9-year-old Louis on the family billboard. So they did eventually change their mind on that. The resemblance was intriguing, but facial resemblance is subjective, especially when comparing a child photograph to an unknown adult.
Right.
No fingerprints, dental records, DNA, or confirmed identity were ever connected to the man in the photograph. The original sender was never identified. But it remains one of the most haunting artifacts in this case, which, I mean, this is so all over the place.
And what was written on the back of the picture, like, it wasn't anything, of course, like nasty or threatening. It was so strange. It was just, it had a disturbing feel.
Yes. And I mean, so, you know, like really with the rest of this, it's all about the fact that people are questioning what really happened in terms of, did they all die? Was this an arson? Maybe by happenstance, these kids get abducted by the arsonist.
Right.
Was this arson planned because they wanted the kids? You know, could it be like flip-flopped? Was it a organized crime or political revenge? Because, you
George.
know, yeah, he was a big mouth.
It just feels like a lot if it was an arsonist that was strictly, I don't know. It's just like, that's a lot going on. The unpredictability of that many people in the house. Again, you're dealing with older adult children, essentially, with the mother and father. I don't know. I don't know.
And the person who took the kids would have had to know that they were staying up late on Christmas Eve
Well,
because they put the cows away.
does that matter though? Oh my God, what if it was somebody from the Five and Dime? I guess they wouldn't have known this, but I was going to say how like Marion got them the toys and they wanted to stay up late and play with the toys, but
I'm saying somebody who wanted to kidnap the kids, it's a lot easier to do it from the living room than from their bedroom attic.
True.
So whatever happened to the family just in general, George and Jennie never rebuilt on that property. They planted flowers over the place where the house had stood, like I told you, for the memorial garden. George continued operating his business and investigating all of those leads. He died in 1969, same year he went to the moon, as I said before, without learning what happened to any of his kids. Jennie continued the search after his death. She reportedly wore black for the remainder of her life and cared for the memorial garden until she died in 1989.
Wow, she lived way past George.
After Jennie's death, the billboard was eventually removed. Sylvia, the youngest child and the last person to escape the house, remained convinced that her siblings had survived the fire. She was only 3 years old on Christmas Eve 1945, and the fire became one of her earliest memories. Sylvia continued speaking about the case and supported efforts to keep the story alive. She died on April 21st, 2021.
Wow.
She was 79 years old.
This is horribly tragic.
I agree. So now the most current status is that obviously it remains unsolved. They don't have any DNA evidence of anything. They never found the man in the photograph. There's never been an arrest for like an arsonist or like a kidnapper, anything like that. And in reality, sadly, I don't think there's anybody left to be pushing the case at this point.
Exactly.
Because even modern technology potentially might have been able to do something, but
I wonder if any of the Sodder children then, had children, if there are grandchildren. Like, I wonder if they could still be living and possibly keeping an eye on things or keeping in touch with the police department. I don't know. What a nightmare of a tragedy for this family.
Yeah. So there you have it.
That had a lot of layers to it.
I'll say, yeah, there was a lot going on in that case, but
you did a very good job.
Well, thanks. What weird part about that case unnerves you the most?
Fire terrifies me, but the fact that those kids went missing, I don't know, missing person cases always really rattle me and unsettle me. And the fact that there were it wasn't just one child, the fact that it was 5 of them. And I've said this 50 times, here we go again, but that they were
51.
They were older, and just how that had to haunt the family. The fire is awful, absolutely, but it's I don't think they were there, and it's where the hell were they? But I also don't think it's a coincidence. I feel like there's so much unknown with the fire being the same night, and I wish we knew the connection of that, the thing that got thrown into the house, the weird people leading up to this, the man with the fuse box, and then the salesman. There's just so many things where it's
the thief who cut the phone line.
Good call. So it's you
just for shits and giggles.
The people watching across the highway for several days, just weird shit was going on, and it's that there were a lot of weird variables, but you also sort of can't figure out.
I'd like to know what car they were in. What car did that woman see drive away?
Right. How were all of these pieces connected, which obviously no one's ever going to know.
Correct.
And it just breaks my heart for these parents. It completely altered their entire lives and consumed them, and they died not knowing.
Well, if the youngest one has also passed away, I'd say mostly, even if they did survive the fire, they are probably all deceased at this point.
Yeah.
So we would like to believe that they are all resting peacefully.
Together.
One hopes.
You're right. Good point.
So, all right. Well, that was a lot to take in, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sitting and listening. We'll catch you in episode 3 of season 4. And as always, until then,
stay safe
and stay chill.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye. You've just listened to Chillworthy. Thank you for joining us on this latest episode. While we strive to keep our discussions engaging and lighthearted, we also wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the real lives and events that are at the heart of these stories.
We try to approach each topic with a sense of curiosity and respect, fully aware of the impact these events have had on the individuals and their loved ones. Our goal is to honor their memories by keeping their stories alive and shedding light on the mysteries that surround them.
If you enjoyed this episode, please remember to subscribe, rate, and leave a review, and don't forget to join us on the next episode of Chillworthy.